4 to 3. Don't get a Wi-Fi. Hey, y'all, we're coming from a very windy patio bar. Woo! Woo! Look at this. Downtown Pflugerville represent. What's up? Yeah, yeah. We're live from the three-legged goat today. I got my ring flash on. We have a windscreen going on because, it's Texas. So, of course, there's a cold front blowing in from the north. Cold front is going to get down 10 degrees, all the way down to the 80s, cold front. But, yeah, we're excited. We have lots of portraits today. Mostly this crowd is usually like, landscapes and abstracts and all that stuff. I'm talking this way because that's where my mic is. I have a big, what is this called, Kim? What would you call this? A windscreen, a windshield screen. Yeah, so we have that blocking the wind. So I'm going to be talking into the mic and kind of looking back, giving you the side eye. Uh, I hope everybody's doing good. It's going to be hard for me to check comments, but I'll do what I can and try to follow along. We have a lot of portraits today. I'm really excited. I love talking portraits. That's kind of probably the best thing that I do. I'm really not that good at landscapes. I'm happy to critique them, but I'm not very good at them myself. So I think portraits are kind of in my wheelhouse. So, yeah. We have a Hefeweizen and a Dr. Pepper on board, so let's do this. Oh, we gotta get the comments going. There we go. I know. Is it lag bad? Probably. To the fourth leg. Oh, we don't want to talk about the fourth leg. That's not for public consumption there, Steven. What's up, Jeff? How's it going, man? How's it going? All right. Can I not get that going? Oh, my gosh. Everything's just breaking today. It's all just breaking. Oh, chat's not going to work today. Oh, well. One more thing to break. Have fun with that. So I can't see the chat. I'll flip back as often as I can. All right. First photo up is from Miss Rachel Hall. Natural light. Ooh, very good. A couple things. Natural light is, I don't know. I think natural light portraits are harder in a lot of senses because you can't control the light. And I like controlling the light. And so we see kind of an example here where her body's in shadow and her face is kind of in that more full sun. And so that's always kind of difficult, right? I don't know, something to work with. But if it was me, I would have flipped the body and the face to keep the face in the shade, just because that kind of gets rid of those raccoon eyes, right? So if the sun is coming from above us, right, our brows act as a shade, and it shadows the eye sockets, and we call that raccoon eyes. And we don't want to do that, right? We want to have nice, lovely portraits. Also, this looks like it's in a nice garden. Gardens are one of those things where it sounds like it's good. Like botanical gardens sounds like a great place to take photos, but I really don't like taking photos there because you're there to look at the plants, and the pathways are very limited, and you can't really shoot from the angles you want to shoot at without somebody coming and yelling at you, which happens to me often when I'm shooting in botanical gardens. I get yelled at or thrown out, so they're not really fun for me. But this is a lovely garden, backlit. I mean, you're doing the right things here, Rachel, but for me, it's just a hard time of day too. It's a little bit earlier, right? You don't have that nice soft golden. It's a tough thing. But yeah, I would have turned maybe around a little bit. The other thing that I could have done, if you move like 10 feet to your left, have her turn to the right. Then she's in full shade, but then you can also give a foreground element, right? Shoot through some of that lower level vegetation to give yourself a foreground, let the subject be the middle ground, and then you have a background as well. A circular polarizer could help here as well, cut down some of those highlights and darken the sky to a manageable color, because it's right there. It's kind of that just a little bit of blue, which is like Texas from like 3 p.m. to like 7 p.m. So anyway, thank you for that one. And this is the one that I think, really want to talk about. What you told me in the email was you're trying to do more of like a dramatic light, right? That kind of sport portrait, dramatic light. And what ended up happening is we have that little thin strip of shadows right down the face. And so the way to solve that is move the lights more behind you. So the direction they are now, let me see if I can do this. They're kind of there, right? Even with the face, right? They're like at the ears, pointed at the ears. But I would move them back maybe 20 degrees each. So if they're coming up under the cheekbones from behind. And that's really going to give it more of that dramatic look where those lights are acting just as the highlights, and not so much as like illumination on the face. They're really just acting as a way to illuminate those back 10 pixels that are against the background. It would have also prevented it from washing out onto the background because they're pointed straight into the face. They're also pointed in the background some. And so if you had pointed them from the back coming forward, it would have been a way to separate the subject, the brightness of the subject. It would have been brighter than with a darker background. And so because they're pointed, a lot of throw from those lights are landing on the background as well. I do like how they're kind of like up against that medallion or whatever. I think this would have been better as a vertical orientation instead of a horizontal, because everything's pretty vertical. The color to the right, the color to the left don't really add anything that a vertical portrait couldn't have pulled in. And then we could have gotten closer on the face. Also, when you're going for that really dramatic, hardcore lighting, you kind of need something a little bit more from the person. And so more of like a yell, a scream, or like a tough guy pose. Whereas here, he's just kind of like casually like, "What's up? I'm 13." And again, he's 13. He's a boy. He probably doesn't want to do anything anyway. I get it. But if it was me, I would try to go for something where, the pose is more in line with what the lighting is trying to do. That's something I've always struggled with. I like going for this big lighting, and sometimes it's kind of hard to explain what I'm doing with my lighting to get what I need from the subjects. But in this case, that's kind of what, that's what I would do. I need a little bit more symmetry. What was that movie with? I'm gonna figure it out later. I'll think of the movie. It's got not Tobey Maguire. The kid from the '70s show. That guy's the star. The boy from the '70s show. No, the other one. The son. Not Tom Hardy. Anyway. Oh. Yeah. Anyway, there's a point where they go synergy. I don't know. That's what I was going for there. It's a long way to go. I know. If I'd have thought of the movie, it would have been. I think Scarlett Johansson's in it, maybe, and one of the like Bridges kids. Anyway, we're getting off track. But let's check the comments on that one. Hello, what's up, Patty? What's up? Jessica, how you doing? All right. If y'all can think of the movie that I'm talking about, it's about corporate takeovers. I don't remember the rest. Anyway, I think it has Scarlett Johansson and the kid from the '70s show. There you go. Anyway, synergy. Okay, there we go. Going the wrong way now. All right, this one is from Miss Ronnie Duke. I love the blue. Got to go with the blue. What's up, Team Blue? Good splash. I think this photo, it's like the only non-portrait one we have today. But I think the splash by itself is great. A lot of action. I think the color of the glass is great. Two things. One, rule of odds say we should have 1, 3, or 5, right? 1, 3, or 5. So I would either add a third glass of blue or take out the background glass. So that way we either have just the one glass splashing or there's 2 glasses in the background to give us something going on, right? The other thing that could have been done, right, splash both glasses. That might have to be a composite. That's going to be hard to get both splashes at the same time. But that's something that could be done. Or have the background glasses a different color so that we have a pattern interrupted, right? If we had blue glass, and then red glass, right, we could have a pattern interrupted in there some way. So I'm getting made fun of by the live studio audience. How great. But yeah, just I feel like it's in between, right? It feels undecided about what you're really trying to show. Sometimes that happens with cropping, right? A lot of times that happens with cropping where we don't know if we need to punch in more or like pull back. And this feels hesitant to me. Like, do I need that glass there? Do I not need it there? It's just kind of hanging out in the background. And so, I'd either add a second glass for 3 or get rid of the one in the background. But I love the splash. I think that's really fun. I need to do more splash photography. I just had an idea of doing a waterfall miniature in my kitchen sink with an ice cube tray with a long exposure. Right? Can y'all see that? Like filling up the ice cube tray, but doing it like a waterfall, like in nature, but have like all the dishes piling up because that's what my house has been like lately. Oh, because we're all home right now. How exciting. I don't know. Josh is having fun today. Y'all should have been here. It's a lot more fun in person. All right. This one's from Miss Chris, all the way from Maryland. Thanks, Chris, for sending this one. And I think she said it's from Olympia National Park. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Olympia National Park. What I really like about this one, there's three things that I really like about this photo. One, it's just a pathway, right? It's just somebody walking down a path. But what's changed about it is the camera's on the ground, right? And because the camera's on the ground, we're getting a unique perspective, right? Go high, go low, go wide, go tight. Pick any two of those. And so I like that you're low, and then the stripes in the road become the triangle, right? So now we have center point photography, right? Both those lines converge to our horizon. There's a single point in the background that they converge. The first time I thought it was the rays of light coming in, but it's just the yellow markers. Now, this type of photo has been done before, but I think it's still a great example, and it's probably still safer than doing railroad tracks. I am vehemently against doing railroad track photos because my family's in the train wrecking business, so don't go on railroad tracks. You're also trespassing. No roadkill. So I like that you took kind of like, a scene and a part and then changed up the perspective to show the road going through it in a way that's slightly unexpected, right? So that to me is always a sign, right? Where I'm like, oh, where's this? Oh, okay, I see what's going. But then we also have triangles, right? So I think as y'all are working with composition, think of how you can incorporate triangles into your composition. This one has a positive one in the center, but then there's two kind of extreme ones on the sides as well. So good job, Chris. I liked it. I like this whole portfolio. It was fun going through and seeing all your picks. I could see you working your shots. All right. Ooh, Kim, this is you, right? You're standing here, so now I get to be really mean. Here's the thing. I'll take off my earphones so I can hear you throw things at me. Generally speaking, I don't like crouching photos. I don't know. The angles always lead to something that you probably maybe aren't supposed to be seeing. In this case, we're kind of looking at, I think it's a guy. Is it a guy? Girl? Okay, I don't know. But the focus is kind of right in his crotch. And that's where the hands are. That's kind of where your eyes go. Maybe that's the point. I don't know. But a lot of times I see like female models doing it, and it just looks like they're pooping on the side of the street. So for me, I don't dig crouching photos. It's just a personal thing. There's also a bar going right through his head, and it looks like a cigarette just went through his head. So you said say mean things, so here I am. So I like the dynamic tilt, right? I think that's good. I think that goes with the like asymmetrical knees. I think that works. And then the toning on this, it's kind of in between as well, right? Is it more of that vintage, tony, kind of desaturated look, or is it more of a contrast? And to me, it's like it could have gone further either way. It could have gone further into the desaturated nature and felt like 70s, like, I don't know, street photography, right? Film grain and go crazy with it. Especially with the way the shoes are and all that, it kind of feels like that. Or go like 90s skater, like crank up the clarity and go over the top. Either way, this pose, this angle, I feel like the processing needs to come with it a little bit and go further either into the higher contrast range or less into the more vintage range. Either I think would have worked, but I feel like the processing is kind of in the middle. So I'm like, ah. All right. Let me check comments real quick as I get going here. Hey, Karen Madden, glad you could join us. There you go, Karen, all the way from New Braunfels, Texas. Very good, very good. All right, so this one's from Steven. He's also sitting right next to me, so um, this should be fun. So I can't critique this one too bad because I set up the lighting on this photo. So and I screwed up. I think somewhere I was talking about this earlier, but I screwed up the lighting. She doesn't have flames in her hand at this point, but this is Jamie. She's a fire dancer. This is part of our Patreon shoot in August. Then I put a red gel or an orange gel that had too much red in it, and I messed up the color toning on this setup. It was the last setup of the day. My brain was a little fried. My mistake. But this one didn't have flames, so you don't see it as much here. But when she added the red from the fire, it really like overcooked the face. And so I apologize for that. Steven here managed to get lens flares, even though there's no lights in there. I talked to him earlier. He used a overlay and what did you say, Luminar? Yeah, Luminar. Yeah, I love it when people use like point spot overlays when there's no backlight. You're like, where'd that come from? It's usually pretty good dead giveaway that it's an overlay and not actual in camera effect. But I kind of like it. There's some negative space there in the blue of the sky, and it needed something, right? So I think it's the right choice taking it in and just adding something, right? For me, I don't always go far enough. Like I try to deliver a lot of photos instead of taking like five and making them really great. That's something that I've always kind of done. Where I don't spend enough time on each photo because I'm so concerned about getting a bulk of photos out. So I appreciate that Steven took some time and actually like worked on the file in a way to kind of bring out the most of it. I like the waters. I like the like ripples. All that looks good. Jamie was a great model. She was going for like 3 hours for us. It was wonderful. The one thing I would say, there's a lot of negative space in the upper right, and her face is right along the tree line. Compositionally, I think it would have been stronger if her face was more in that negative space, not in the tree line. So that used the silhouette of the shadow to frame her as a way to internally frame her face and arms. So if I'd have gone a little bit left and then a little bit, well, you couldn't go much lower because camera would have been in the water. But just something to think about, like your horizons matter and where you put their heads and shoulders and hands against that horizon space can really matter. So something you could have done also, taken those hands and positioned them into that negative space as a way to occupy it, right? Or, throw a title up there or something, right? Just do something with it. I think that's why you did an overlay, because there is that negative space there to do something with. But we could have also done something with the posing. Something to think about. Otherwise, I like the toning. I like where you went with it. Good stuff.
I feel like the highlights were a little bright too. They could be toned down a little bit.
Oh,
The highlights were a little bit low down.
nah. Yeah, come on, Hector. Come on, Mr. Insurance Fraud. I don't really, generally, I don't care about blown highlights. There's just not something that. Let's see. All right, we're still good on comments. All right, this is from Miss Jessica Jade. Um, Thanks for being here, Jess. I really like this photo. It doesn't really show up as well on this screen, but on my big screen, that sky is nice and blue in the background. It's kind of that nice blue hour. And then you have the warm tones in her skin contrasted with the blue hour. I think that's great. I also love how this photo, by using out of focus elements, creates a foreground with the hands and the smoke. Really well done there. The face is the middle ground, and then we have that blue hour kind of spooky haze in the background as our background. So it's a very three-dimensional photo, right? It feels very much like you're there. Because there's depth of field going on that we feel. Hey, and we're right next to the fire station. That's our second fire truck. All right. Uh, yeah, I hope y'all can hear that. It's not for us. We're fine. But yeah, Jess, I really like this. I like the pose. I love the way the hands kind of come in, right? We have eyes. We have strong eyes, strong hands. We have smoke. We just have a lot of stuff. What I really like about this one, more than any of the technical attributes, is that you had an idea, you had a concept, and you went for it. And I think if there's one thing that I can suggest from today is do more like these where you have an idea, and even if you fail, right, even if they're not perfect, you still have, man, the sirens are going crazy. You still have an idea that you're trying to execute, and you're going to learn so much more along the way as you attempt to execute a vision than just going out and taking what I would say nice photos, right? One of the hard things for me is a lot of times I get creative briefs, right? We'll get, an idea from a client. Hey, we want you to do this. And then it's up to me to bring the rest of those ideas to fruition. So the more you can practice that on your own, I think the stronger your photography down the road is going to get, and the more able you're going to be able to take other people's ideas, internalize them, and then put out good work. And to me, that's kind of the hard part to a lot of what I do, where I have to take not my ideas and then make them good. If y'all read our Patreon post this week about taking cast photos and then doing something different than what the client actually wanted, but still making the client happy. That to me that's kind of where I want y'all to get, where you can take an idea, use techniques to tell your story better. Techniques are great in and of themselves, but if you're not seeing, if you're not saying, they don't really matter. So say more, worry about technique less. So good job, Jess. I've really enjoyed seeing your photos grow. You too, Steven. Way to have your photos grow over the last year. Good job. Don't throw anything at me.
Josh, I think you nailed it. And
Yeah?
the bravery that it took to do something drastic like that is commendable.
Yeah,
It's just
I'm getting heckled by somebody I don't know. This is wonderful.
I love like the daring aspect of it. It is beautiful. Oh, bring it up again.
He's right there. Look, he's right there.
Somewhere over here.
That's him. Y'all should be here. Y'all could be drinking with us. It'd be fun. All right. So this is from Mark Brennan, all the way from. This photo's from all the way from Ireland. He said it came from some moody lake in Ireland. I'm very jealous that he was there. So the first thing, I don't know if you noticed, like I think you see the tree, and you man, these sirens are killing me. You see that tree, right? That nice moody tree. You see the rocks, but there's also a swan just chilling out on the side, right? Like it's just chilling, which I think's kind of cool. For me, this photo, that that tree in a lake, and I think there's a couple ways you can go with it, right? A longer shutter speed, smooth out the water. I don't necessarily mind it here, but I think that's a way you could go. I think what's strong about this is we have a nice foreground. Those rocks, really anchor the photo, and then we have a tree in the middle. One thing I think is if we turn this into a panoramic crop, maybe a 16 by 9 crop, the clouds above don't really add a ton. We have enough of that information just above the tree. So if we just get rid of that top third, go from a 3 by 2 to a 16 by 9, and I think it really fills the frame more with information. I don't know how I feel about the swan. I think it's neat, and it's kind of cool that it's there. But I feel like there needs to be something on the right hand side of the frame to balance out the swan. That tree serves as a center vertex, and so now there's more information on the left than the right. I don't know. So maybe something on the right to be there to balance out the frame, because now we have two, right? We have a tree, we have a swan. So if we had one more thing, we could have had a third. And we want those rule of odds, right? We want three things in our subjects, or just one. So I think either just a tree or some other swan in the foreground. If there was one, if you could tell the swan to pose, right? You can't do that, but if you could, that'd be amazing. I don't know. Maybe if you're Doctor Dolittle and you can count to animals. Hey, look! I remember the movie title this time. Very good. Um, but I really like the moodiness of this, right? I like the feel and the vibe. Um, I think a little bit of cropping could go a little way. I don't know. I maybe like clone out the swan, see if it's stronger with it or without it. I don't know. Try it out, see what happens. But I love the mood. I think that's what you're going for. This one's from Miss Tiffany. She said she did not use a flash, all natural light. This is kind of a counterpoint to that previous natural light portrait, right? Here we have her face under a hat, which also acts as a way that can potentially raccoon eyes. But it didn't, right? It's a nice soft look. Everything here feels soft, right? The fabric is soft. The pose is kind of squishy. Everything's just very smooth and soft and textured. And I like that the out of that green thing, I don't know what it is, shutter. It's a little bit of a subtle triangle there. The hat makes a circle. So we have some fun shapes, right? If you just squint your eyes and just kind of look at the shapes, there's a lot going on there. The triangle of the arm, the triangle of the building, the circle of the hat. All those things work really well. I like that the smile is nice and bright. It's really good. I like this photo. I think where the crop is on her arms and thighs is fine. So yeah, it's good. Nice, pleasant photo. I bet the client loves this one. I don't really have anything too crazy to say about it. It's nice. It's nice. It's nice. Uh-oh, there's another one to go. This one's you. There we go. So the first thing that really drew my attention here is the blue dress with the warm background. I love using color as a way to contrast our subject right against the foreground and background by using color, right? So blue and orange is a classic, probably the most used way to do separation, right? Without having to use like a crazy amount of depth of field, which you're in studio, you don't really need. So I think that's a great way to do it. I would say the backlight maybe is a little hot, and it feels a little slightly off center, but that's a nitpick. I think the idea is there. I think the idea is right. With maternity photos, there's like 3 poses. This is one of them. There's just not a lot you can do. Right, you can switch the hands. You can have her look over her shoulder, but there's just not a lot you can do with maternity photos. They all kind of have a normal feel. But I like that the leg has a bend to it. The elbow has a nice bend. That the arm and the leg are in the same plane. So that's good, right? This is your wife, right? Yeah, okay. And I'm actually jealous of his wife, so let's take photos. My wife is After about 6 months of me playing with the camera, she was pretty done with me taking her photos. So I'm just impressed that you got your wife to post for you another time. I don't know if y'all can hear that wind. It's really windy. We have a cold front coming in. Sorry, and I look like a Violet Beauregard with the white balance of my ring flash being off. So I don't have to fix that. So Violet, you're turning violet. Violet, yeah. All right, I'm 2 for 3 on movies now. 2 for 3. All right. But yeah, this is a nice classic portrait, which I think is what you're going for. What you're going for, right? Nice classic portrait. He says yes, nice classic portrait. So I think you nailed it, right? The only thing you play with the backlight just a little bit, and then that shadow on the right hand side just a little bit. I think if you were like a foot to the right, you could have fixed both of those issues where there's less of a hot spot, less of a shadow. All right, this is from Miss Mia. Mia's out in Florida today. She says this is from photographer Michael Zamaripa. I think that's the name. I hope I said it right. So I love this effect of using like flare, sunburst, or a filter to create those out of focus highlights in the front. I think that's a great way to add some foreground, to add some interest to a portrait. For me, the cropping feels a little off. I would have cropped maybe just at the tops of those. I would have gone like an 8x10 crop and got rid of some of that just white space at the top. Doesn't really add anything. But I like the feel, right? This has that very nice, like, late evening, sun-kissed, the reds and the out of focus highlights with the greens of the, foliage, right? All that's working. The blue of the dress, orange, right? We have 2 in a row, blue dress, warm background. So I think all that works. But just the cropping to this one feels off to me. That'd be my one big thing. It just feels like there's we could have brought the tension more down and still kept the feel, still kept the vibe, but just brought the attention down just a little bit. So, yeah. This one is from Miss Michelle out in Taylor. What's up, Michelle? How we doing on comments here? Yeah, I'm on fire. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm on fire. Yeah, I do have the orange shirt, blue logo, so you can see that. And my face is normally very red, so I'm kind of surprised it's very blue on the screen today. Yeah, yeah, today it does. Normally I look like I don't know. What was that? Inside Out. There's another movie where what's the comedian that's always angry all the time? He was on the Daily Show. Oh, y'all are killing me. He's the angry old man. He was on the Daily Show. He was in Inside Out. He was anger. Nothing. Nothing. Uh, no, I mean Sam Kinison would have fit, but generally my face looks like I'm in a like fit of rage, and I'm just angry all the time. I can see his face, but I can't think of his name right now. Lewis Black. Oh, Lewis Black. There we go. Anyway, normally I look like Lewis Black with a big red face. Okay, so this one's from Michelle. So again, I think a lot of times on this we're talking composition, right? Rule of odds. How many subjects do we put into a frame? This one feels like it was overexposed at the start, and then the highlights were trying to brought back. Something with the whites in them are just off to me. I don't know. Maybe it's my screen. I'm not sure. But the whites feel like they were overexposed, and then you try to recover the whites, and then there's not really detail there. I'm not sure. But I think this is one of those that feels hesitant, right? Should I go closer and focus on one? Should I back up and show more, right? It feels in the middle of where you should be. I don't know if I can feel the hesitation in the photos, but I'm going to tell myself that I can. I feel like I can feel people's hesitations in their cropping and their compositions. But this one feels like it should have either been closer or more pulled back. I think you could have done something with just I think it's agapanthus is the right name for this flower. There's one that isn't bloomed with one that is, and play off that relationship, right? The unbloomed flower with the blooming flower. That could be something. Get closer or get underneath the photo and shoot up through them as a way to kind of give a different angle, right? Reward the viewer with careful viewing as a way to feel something maybe they're not used to feeling, right? So I like the colors, the green's good. Green and purple, I think, is what you're going for. Generally, those work really well as contrast. But I just feel the hesitancy in this crop. So keep working those angles. Take some more, just take more photos. Go high, go low, go wide, go tight. See what comes out. All right, this comes from Mr. Jeff. I love this one of the Chevys. Again, rule of odds. We have 3 posts. We have 3 trucks. Those work well. I would say just from the top left, I would crop just a little bit down to get rid of that 4th post that's just starting. There's a 4th post that's just starting. Just crop just a little bit to get out of that, because that way we keep the 3 posts with the 3 trucks. I think this is a good example of a way to reward the viewer, because no one backplate says Chevy, right? A post covers up a letter in each one. And so it makes your brain work a little bit more, which adds interest to the photo, right? Anytime you can make somebody's brain work a little harder, the photo's going to score higher because we have to spend more time looking at it. But I'm just cropping just a little bit just to get rid of that post. That'd be my first part. And then I would like to see what this looks like from a lower perspective as well. I love the back plates and how they all line up. And I know you're working at a car show, and those are always tough, right? How do you find interesting composition when there's people and cars and everything going on? So one light's getting low, and I think you did a good job here going longer instead of wider. I think that was the right choice, right? By getting all of those trucks, right, we kind of have that pattern. I'm creating patterns with the trucks, with the posts. But I would have come down a little bit and really focused just on the back plates and not worried so much about the roofs of the trucks. I feel like you're trying to hold on to keeping them there when they're not really the point of interest, right? Those Chevy is really what we're looking for. I think processing's good. It does kind of have that more like vintage grunge feel, which I think works for these trucks, which look more vintage grunge, right? So we have symmetry there with our our subject and our processing. So good job. Keep shooting car shows, man. It's fun. Keep shooting cars. Love it. This one comes from Karen. This is an ostrich. I don't know if many people know this about me, but I grew up raising ostriches, and I have a scar on my finger from where an ostrich bit my hand. I don't know if you can see it right there on the middle knuckle, but I was feeding it a head of lettuce, and it almost took my finger off. So I have a very strong, I almost hate ostriches as much as I hate crouching poses in women. But I hate ostriches. The only good ostrich is a dead ostrich. No, that's not true. Um, so a couple things going on here. I think the vignette in this photo is a little strong. I would have liked to have seen a little more feathering in that information from the corners down to our subjects. If we look at our upper right corner down to the center of our focus, there's just not much transition zone in that vignette. It stands out a little bit. I see a goat peeking out in the corner. A good rule for any photo you submit is go on border patrol, right? Where you check the edges of your borders, of the corners, to see if there's anything that you might not have noticed against the center of the focus. The other thing, again, I think a lower perspective, getting that ostrich's head up above the tree line to separate it against, to really make it pop out, right? I think as it is, the ostrich's head gets kind of lost in the foliage of the tree. But by getting lower, you're going to put the ostrich's head higher and into the sky and really make it A, look taller, but B, it's gonna give more of a focus to the face, the beak, the eyes of those evil monsters. So yeah, ostriches, they can die. No. Childhood repressed memories. Good times. This one's from Miss Patty on a photo walk. I love doing architectural abstracts. I think I even know where this one is, but I really like them. So again, right, what are we seeing? We're seeing that good blue-gold combination, right? The blue in the shadows, the warmth in the windows. It's just such a classic thing that it always works, right? People are always interested in blue, gold, blue, orange, blue, warm, cool, warm contrast. Now, for me, this photo has just a slight bit of pincushion or keystone. What's the one where it's there? This is one keystoning, and the other one, whatever the other one is, where it's coming like this. The very bottom is pinched just a little bit, and that's the first thing my eyes went to because I don't know. Apparently, I have OCD. I walk into people's houses and I fix all their photo frames for them because all the lines have to be straight for me to enjoy them. And same with photos, right? I want those lines to be straight so that the angular rays can really stand out. Right, so we need that structure of perfectly straight lines so that any angles, any curves, any colors coming across are that contrast. But yeah, I love it, right? I love taking that like early morning or late afternoon where you get that reflected light bouncing around on buildings, abstracts. Like, I don't know. To me, it's always fun. If anybody wants to go on a research look up some of the. I love architecture photography. Look up the city of Chandigarh, India, and all the different architecture photographers that have gone through there, like Hervé and well, Corbusier designed it, but French architect who designed the entire city. But there's a lot of photographers that went through there, so that's a fun one to go look up. I'll throw it in the notes, but it's kind of a cool place to see how many different architecture photographers have gone through there because it was the first master planned large city in the 20th century. Good times. Chandigarh. Didn't know that, huh? All right. Full of useless trivia today. All right. This is, I think this is from John, Mr. Jedi John. And I know the model, that's Miss Caitlin, who is now the front desk receptionist at Precision. So if you go in, you'll probably see her wearing her outfit of the day at the front desk. Oof. Had something fly in my mouth. All right. So a couple things. One, to me, this feels just a tad underexposed. And for me, I don't know. I would have liked to have seen her a little bit more off the background. I feel like she's too close to the background, and so we're getting like that outline of the shadow. But if we're going for the outline of the shadow, I want to see more outline. This just feels kind of like a muddled background, and then we can kind of see the wrinkles in the paper. So either a shallower depth of field, but generally just bring the subject off that paper as a way to, I don't know, make them pop a little bit. I do like that you want the square crop. I think that works well with the subject matter. I like the pose where she's not necessarily looking right at the camera. I think for a quick tip for those of you who take pictures of people, I generally tell my models that either the plane of their face or their eyes can look at me, but not both. So either the face can look in the way the eyes are back, or the plane of the face can be at the camera and the eyes are away. Just as a way to add contrast in posing, right? Same with shoulders. So either the shoulders can be and the hands forward, or opposite, right? So we don't want to necessarily be straight on, but you can get that twisty turning, right? We never want to be straight at the camera. So I think that's going well here, right? Her shoulders nice and turned. Her arms have this nice V going on. So some good stuff going on there. I just feel like it's slightly underexposed, and I just would have liked to have seen Caitlin, more off that background, because the subject, that shadow, is just kind of, I don't know. It's there, but it's not there. So, yeah, that's what I got. Ooh. Is that it? That's it? Oh my gosh. We're all the way through. Look at there. Look at everybody. Look at that. Say hi, everybody. Everybody wave. Hi, everybody. Oh, there's Steven too. There's Steven. Hello. So yeah, we've been hanging out at the Three-Legged Goat today. It's a great place in downtown Pflugerville. Some friends of mine own it. Hopefully we'll be doing some more of these. We're out on the patio, and the cold front, I think, has finally come in, and it feels great out here. Yeah, it's really nice. Y'all are missing out. But thanks to everybody who submitted. Yeah, we'll be doing another one of these again. What month are we in? September? So in October. If anybody can guess what movie I was talking about, y'all win a prize. I don't know, not Tobey Maguire, but the other guy. I don't know. I can't remember his name. Topher Grace. That guy. It's Topher Grace, Scarlett Johansson, and Dennis Quaid. Those are the three main people in it, but I can't think of the. But anyway, there's a mean corporate raider, and he says synergy. My wife, it's an inside joke with my wife, so now you know it as well. Anyway, thanks for everybody submitted. Thanks for watching online. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I know I was in good company. Very good, in good company. See, and look, I'm in good company. See, it all comes back together. It all comes back together. Yes. Awesome. Well, I hope you have a great rest of y'all.